All right, everybody, we are live. This is Arsenal Fan Circle. I've got two distinguished guests with me today. We're going to preview the Arsenal Newcastle game. That's it. It's been a long time. James Rowe, for all the way from Netherlands. Thanks for joining us.
You're more than welcome. Very nice to be back on again.
Regular viewers will recognize James, of course, and the Arsenal world is getting smaller and smaller. But Ryan, this is your first time on Arsenal Fan Circle. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, thank you that I'm here. Pleasure is all mine. But yeah, excited to talk about Arsenal finally. Kind of been in this little winter lull, and
it's been a while. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Let's get into a couple of things that both of you are doing right now, recent projects, and then we'll get into the Arsenal stuff. So, James, what have you been up to lately?
What have I been up to? Well, viewers may well still know I'm still doing the interviews with professional players and managers. And my two recent interviews with Viv Anderson and today's one of Dominic Bloedwerf, the left back of the Dutch national ladies team, have been very well received. And it's just about keep producing quality, really. I'm very lucky to be in such a great position. But the most important thing is to treat everybody the same. You know, and everybody's got a story to tell, and it's about making sure that story gets out. I'm proud of every single publication from the last 3.5 years now, but you're always looking forward to the next one. The next interview is always the most important one.
The one around the corner, like the next game for Arsenal. James, just touching on your last two interviews, I was very interested, and now of course the women's game is coming to the fore. So that was a great interview that you had.
Yeah, was very pleased. Dominic Bloedwerf, she's a seasoned left back for the Dutch national team, obviously playing in the World Cup, reaching the final with the Netherlands. And I've been fortunate enough to interview a lot of her international teammates, the likes of Beerenstein, Van der Donk, Spitzer, and Kerkdijk. So it's been going pretty well, and it's nice to kind of also be known for interviews with women players too, and they enjoy it, and look forward to the future, really.
And of course, our older viewers, James, will know Viv Anderson, Arsenal stalwart, Man United, Nottingham Forest. I particularly like the app that he's going to bring out for retired players as well.
Yeah, he made a point of wanting to make clear about what he's done to help former players, and he was talking about the divorce rates in the first year once a player stops playing 75%, and it's about bringing the fans and the players closer together. And with him having a history of being in the history books as the first ever black player to be fully capped by England. Laurie Cunningham was the first black under-21 player to be capped, but in his case, the first full black international. He was He's in the history books for fantastic reasons and also fantastic ability as a footballer. So I'm very, very lucky. And viewers will know as well the likes of Bob Wilson and Sebastian Larsson and Luke Freeman as well. And, I'm fortunate enough, to speak to many different professional players and managers. And, some have an Arsenal past, some don't. But it's about the story. It's about what's gone before. I mean, you've read it, of course. I'm sure viewers have as well. But the little part about the fact that George Graham offered him a contract extension, and it was the only reason why he left is because he had history with Manchester United.
Yeah,
he used to go and train with the schoolboys in the summer during his youth, and he said to me himself, if it was any other club apart from Manchester United, he would have stayed at Arsenal.
Good stuff. Where can people find your stuff, James?
They can find the interviews on worldfootballindex.com. There's many to choose from. I also have my author page on that site. And also you can keep fully up to date with latest interviews and podcasts on @JamesRoweNL.
Ryan, thanks, James. Ryan, what have you been up to lately? Plug your show with your brothers and such.
So I'm part of the Ars Bros Raincast. Essentially, 4 guys, 3 or 4, depending on who we can get, just getting together, drinking heavily, and talking about Arsenal. A little bit of a fun one. It goes off the rails quite a bit. We tend to go off on many tangents, but we do have a lot of Arsenal content. We're we're a monthly podcast. We come out every once a month, and then occasionally one of our brothers, Manny, has a hot topic podcast where we essentially take a topic and we like break it down and peel the layers back, which is actually a really fun one because we kind of like dive in deep, and that can get off the rails too. But it's a lot of fun. But next season we're going to be expanding, doing a lot of interesting things, having more shows, more podcasts. So stay tuned to that. But yeah, it's at Arse Bros Rantcast. We're on Facebook, Twitter. Let's see, Spotify, SoundCloud. We're going everywhere.
Spotify, yeah.
Spreading
I
our
listen to you guys on Spotify. Definitely, it's something to watch after the watershed if the kids are around, right, Ryan?
Yeah, a lot of interesting things go down that we don't necessarily even anticipate, but definitely something not something for the kids.
Crack open a beer if you want to listen to it, people. They're out there, and I'll put both of your creds in the comments down below and the description down below. But let's get into it. First topic today is: has the winter lull been a good thing for us, or a good thing in general, James?
I think it's been a good change. Is always interesting, and they've been to Dubai. That you hope that they're refreshed, and there's been more bonding. There's been more coming together and working as a team, and I think it's helped us. We go into a home game tomorrow where we have to take the initiative. We have to win tomorrow. You know, if you read our our current statistics, you know, this is a season of 25 games so far where it's won 6, drawn 13, lost 6. And if you remember, 2 of those 6 games were the first 2 games of the season. I've often said on different podcasts that I think football fans in general forget how long a football season actually is. And we've had a bumpy ride this season. And you have to remember we're still in the Europa League, still in the FA Cup. So I'm hoping that we can get a much-needed win tomorrow, and hopefully that will be the start of a good run of form where we can go on to finish as high as possible and hopefully win at least one piece of silverware.
Yeah, and Ryan, cover that point for us. Winterlull, we've all missed it as supporters, right? But it's probably been a good thing for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I grew up watching German soccer, big Bundesliga guy. It's all I watched. You know, my grandma's off the boat from Germany, so that's all I did. And with them, it's crazier because they have like probably the longest break in all of Europe. They used to have like I think it was like six weeks, and then they shortened it by 2 weeks in like the 2000s somewhere. They call it the winter pause, which is a little more of a definite thing. But yeah, so it's cool because I think we need this. I need to like refresh players, and I like how it's a little shorter. I think 4 weeks could be a little longer. I do think that we need this, especially with our injuries and like our signings that aren't fit yet. So this is like perfect, and hopefully we can get back into it. And I cannot wait to see us play, as much as it may pain me when I'm actually watching them play.
Yeah, it's definitely pained us. 1-on-1 Arsenal. So Paulo, thanks for joining us. I think the break has allowed Arteta to reaffirm his tactics among the players and taking time to watch a lot of film on our previous games. And also, James, he's kind of reaffirmed with the players what he needs when we're in possession, what he needs when we're out of possession, different situations, different formations as well.
Yeah, that's very good. Help us, especially from here on in. You know, I mean, as I said to you many times before, I support every Arsenal manager that's ever been manager of the club since I've been supporting them, more than 30 years now. But I do see a huge difference between somebody who's a number 2 and somebody who's a number 1. And Arteta is in a fortunate position where he starts his career. He starts his career at the 3rd biggest club in English football. If you look, to give you an example, I'm not trying to draw any comparisons. I'm just trying to give viewers an example.
That's why you see what this is, Ryan. Yeah.
Brian Clough started out at Hartlepool. Bill Shankly started out at Huddersfield. You have to learn your trade. I know that the game has changed, but Arteta is in a very fortunate position. He's also played for the club as well, and you just hope that he can learn very quickly. I'm intrigued about the new signings. I wanted to let viewers know, just in case they didn't know, Pablo Mari had a loan spell here in the Netherlands at NAC Breda. He was made captain of that club, and he put in some fantastic performances, which helped them to stave off relegation and stay in the Eredivisie. And by his own admission, when he arrived at the club, he didn't expect to get the captaincy. But the manager then, Stijn Vreven, said, we see a lot of qualities in you. And he himself, being a Spanish footballer, thought, surely there's Dutch candidates to become captain of Breda, very much a people's club here.
Yeah.
He said, but we want you to be captain. And he took to the role like a duck to water, had some great performances, particularly winning away at Feyenoord, which was a great result for them. And I think his leadership and the experience in the Eredivisie and also in one of the hotbeds of South America will stand us in good stead. Cedric Suarez as well, won Euro 2016. He's a very, very good footballer. I mean, you wonder about his fitness in the first instances, but these are good players. And if we can build the jigsaw piece by piece, then we'll be going in the right direction.
Exactly. That's like the perfect point. Build it piece by piece. Some of these fans are just like, they want to just throw the pieces at the wall and they want them all to stick and fit perfectly. It's not going to happen. We need competition at this club. We don't have it. We haven't had it in a while. So I definitely think bringing Cedric in and bringing Pablo in, I think is great. I don't expect them to be in the starting 11. I don't expect them to be in the starting 11 even when the season ends. If they are, that's awesome. But I don't expect it. And I really, when I saw them come in, I said, okay, this is competition. And this is what we need, especially for our fullbacks, especially our left back situation, constantly getting hurt. So we need like that cover there. But, like center backs, not our best position in the world. So like we definitely need the competition.
Yeah. It's not our specialist topic in recent years.
We can't be relying on Mustafi and Luis to carry us, because I in my eyes, Papa's already out of the picture with Arteta, but it's the summer can't come soon enough. But I love the way we're doing this. I think I'm very positive about our signings. I'm positive the way we're going, and like James said perfectly, piece by piece, and that's exactly what we have to do going forward.
Yeah, I don't know what you both think about this. I actually think Pablo Mari will force his way into the team pretty soon. He's got to be better than what we have, at least. One of the better defenders that can fill in a spot, maybe with David Luiz.
I think it just depends on if you could deal with the Premier League, because everyone says there's like this thing you gotta get to, the roughness, the toughness, the pace. Yeah. If he could do that, I would. I mean, I've only seen highlight videos, so what do I know? But I would love to see him with Luis. I think the way Arteta likes to play, if we play from the back, like to play the long ball or even the short ball, Pablo and Luis, I think for us is going to be the way to go.
Yeah, James, I had said before, and I think Ryan just mentioned, it's going to be an adjustment for Pablo Mari. A lot of South American football is to feet. We're going to see a little bit more of aerial balls into the box, especially the bottom tier of the Premier League that Pablo Mari is going to face in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it'll be faced. If you can be an important part for the biggest club side in Brazil, and it being an important part in them being successful,
they're by far the best club. Not even close.
Yeah.
No one comes close to them.
Flamengo.
Yeah,
they are an absolutely mammoth club. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be in Brazil nearly 5 years ago now. 5 years ago. Time does go quick. And I went to watch Flamengo play twice against Vasco da Gama, which was rained off, would you believe, in Rio of all places. And then I went to watch them midweek afterwards. So I returned to the American artists, watched them play a Brazilian state championship game against Bangu. And they won that game. And just the passion of those fans in particular, they are absolutely... the rich history of the club with Zico as well, and Pablo Mari, it just goes to show the life of a footballer. 1 minute you are playing for very much a people's club in NAC Breda, you are on loan. Before that, he was at Girona in Spain, and then you go on to represent the biggest club side in Brazil. So you never know what can come in store for a professional footballer. Ryan met great fans. Wanting to throw the pieces of the jigsaw and hoping that it sticks. But a lot of those fans a lot of those fans, to generalise, they seem to think they're playing Championship Manager when real life football doesn't work like that. I mean, obviously, I'm in a position to interview professional players and managers on a regular basis. There's so many facets to a particular transfer.
Yeah.
There's belief from certain managers, belief from certain coaches. There's could be an injury to a player which gives a deputy the chance to shine. So there's so many different facets, really. And
of
as
course,
Ryan,
James,
says,
the partnership between Arteta and Edu is going to be so key in getting the players that we require, and not only the players that we require, the type of characters that we need, the strong characters.
absolutely.
Yes.
Just to finish off about the
Yeah.
point when I said about, Ryan makes some great points in that respect, and you mentioned a fantastic key word there, which I can't repeat often enough: character. You look at the best sides in Europe, you look at the best sides that we had, you look at the best sides in recent years, they've all got character. And if we can identify characteristics in certain characters to help us going forward, especially in the team ethic, I think we will improve. We've had a too many seasons where everybody's been far too comfortable. They've loved living the London life, loved being far too comfortable, picking up their wages, not really fighting for a championship,
Yeah.
not really wanting to push.
Yeah.
Right.
The pressure is being ranked up now and cranked up bit by bit, and they're going to be expected to perform, which is very important.
Nice segue to our next segment of the show. Ryan, you want to start this off? Arsenal players, it's time to put up or shut up. We need to keep the heat on our players' feet. The heat of Dubai. The pressure is going to be ratcheted up a little bit as we need results desperately. And if you look at the ticker tape below, our next 10 games, there's a lot of H's right there. We need to get some W's from those.
Yeah, I mean, form is one thing. Like someone like a Lacazette needs to kind of show it up a little bit, but kind of what I was saying before, we need competition. These players, and like James said, people are just coming in, collecting their wages. They're like, oh, whatever, I play for Arsenal. Like, when Wenger was in charge, his starting 11, you could probably recite like the, like your social security or like your address. You just knew the starting 11 almost every week.
Roll off the tongue.
Yeah, so now it's like, cool, that was awesome, and he did his thing, and I don't want to really get into him, but it's just now that we kind of turned a new leaf and have like a new manager, someone who is Arsenal through and through, I think we kind of need to say, okay, hold on. We need to kind of plug, do a little trial and error, see what works, what doesn't work, and we need to have these guys compete. When Arteta first joined, Maitland-Niles was a beast. He kind of gave Arteta like a thing, like, all right, like we're waiting for Bellerin to come back, maybe. Maitland-Niles, to me, was one of our best players, if not the best player in some of the games that we played. As far as going forward, it's going to come down to Vina and Raul and they do to make these signings because we need competition. We need these guys to understand, like, hey, we're not fucking around. We need Champions League football. We need to move up as a club. Because as of right now, I just get some heat for this, but we're not acting like a big club right now, and it's sad to see. But I think with Arteta as our manager, I definitely think we're on our way up, and we're going to be doing the right things, as already stated with the 2 signings for competition and making these players work, every player work, and not just come into the training ground, collect their check, and bounce.
James, how do you think we're going to shape coming back into the games here? I can announce that I think Liverpool have just beaten Norwich 1-0, but they look kind of rusty just looking at that game. And Arsenal might be rusty coming back tomorrow.
Possibly. I was at the game at Carrow Road back at the end of November, beginning of December. So Carrow Road is a difficult place to go to. And before we came on air, I was keeping an eye on that game, and I thought it may well be a draw. But obviously, the determination of Liverpool, they've snatched their win, and we've just got to take the initiative tomorrow. We are at home. We need to get that win, as you say, and I know it might sound cliche, but we've got to take it one game at a time. We've got the start of the Europa League on Thursday, which is going to be tough. We're facing a team that's dropped down from the Champions League. We're facing the biggest team in Greece. They've got two particular players who can be very dangerous in Emile Moore and also in Mathieu Balbuena, the French midfielder who used to play for Marseille. And I interviewed a couple of players who said about when you face him as an opponent in particular, he's got such a low center of gravity. He can turn very quickly. He can move very quickly. So we're going to have to really fight hard and try to get a positive result in Athens. But I think Europa League is the best chance of Champions League. But also, it's been such a disappointing season so far that you wonder how we're going to finish up in that respect.
James, how do you equate what Mikel Arteta did with the last game at Burnley? Nearly said Barnsley. Burnley, in putting Martinelli on the right-hand side and Lacazette, tried to shoehorn Lacazette, like we said on the podcast before, into the lineup at the detriment of Martinelli and the whole forward line as one. It just didn't seem to work. Do you think Arteta is going to change things around and learn the error of his ways there? Because he is learning on the job, let's face it.
Well, he's got to keep learning very quickly. The pressure's on, to start your managerial career at such a big club. You've got to learn very quickly. And I'm sure he's trying to test the water in a tactical sense, with different things. I mean, I was at the Sheffield United home game in the middle of January, where you saw that Chris Wilder in that particular game made 3 changes, and every sub had that little bit more impact to help them to get something out of the game. And going back to identifying players, Fleck, who's one of the best players for Sheffield United, was a free transfer from Coventry City.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show it's not about names. We need to get away from the culture of names. We don't buy names anymore. We are supposed to be buying characters and people that have a point to prove and want to wear that shirt. And fingers crossed, it's a good sign in the recent window, and we can carry on that going forward.
Ryan, what would you think about tomorrow, and what is Arteta going to learn from the Burnley game?
It's tough because I'm gonna say like 4 or 5 of his games he's had to make early subs because of injuries and because of red cards. So I give him a little credit there where it's tough. Your plan A, his plan A has never gone into effect really in most of his games. He's kind of had to do things on the fly, and kind of have to react instead of impose his will. I think kind of what James is saying, we need to bring it to them. We need to impose our will onto them. They don't create a lot of chances. They're one of the lowest teams in attacking. So I think we just need to, like I said, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. We need to show everybody we're a big club, impose our will, and not mess around. I think that Emery kind of put us in that state a little bit, where I think Emery was more worried about what the other team's going to do, which I'm not saying don't. You obviously need to worry about what the other team's going to do, but it's more about what we're going to do to them.
Yeah, definitely.
They need to worry about us.
Yeah, definitely. We've talked about PTSD in terms of the old failings in the back of every player's mind, and needing to not curl up and recoil when we're a goal up, which has happened to us in many, many games. And I get it. Our fitness is not there right now. Arteta needs more time with the team, and but we see the building blocks, like we were saying, building blocks are there. The defense is starting to concede less goals. Now we just have to get it going a little bit more further forward, and probably in midfield is the biggest puzzle to fix, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, we need to play to win, not play to not lose.
Yeah, lose.
That makes any sense. Yeah, and I almost think Emery kind of installed that into some of these players' heads, and I feel like with Arteta's fresh approach, they're kind of slowly turning, but it's tough because he's got to almost overturn the entire tactics, and he plays football very different, and he kind of has to instill the work ethic in these players with the tactics, and on top of that, we're just not fit. I don't know what Emery did with us, but we're just not fit enough. And kind of I wanted to go back to James's point or your pointer about why Martinelli was on the right. I just think he was riding the hot hand. I think Martinelli was just MVP, man of the match every game, just working hard, being that workhorse we need. Arteta was like, cool, he could just be our workhorse on the right side. Big deal. We need to bring our Golden Boot goal scorer back into the mix. And he wants to play Lacazette because I think he wants to kind of put that square peg in that round hole and just force Lacazette to play until he scores, until he finds his form, which I think could be detrimental to him. But I don't know if he's going to be here this summer. So after the summer, so we'll see. But and it didn't work. So hopefully he fixes that. And I do think Lacazette needs to kind of take a rest, put Aubameyang up top, Martinelli back on the left, and bring Pepe back in. He talked a little bit about Pepe, the week in Dubai and stuff, and how he needs to be consistent and bring his A game. So let's hope, because I do not want to see that French on the bench. Didn't mean that was a weird rhyme, but yeah, I don't want to see him on the bench. I want to see him in the 11.
James, they do say the team takes on the persona of the coach, and we played a lot like that under Unai Emery in the last 2 years. Do you see us sort of transforming to Arteta in more recent games?
Potentially, but it's still very early days. It's still very, very early days, and we will see, I think, possibly in terms of a clear difference, maybe towards the end of the season, the start of next season. And, we also, Unai Emery has been gone a long time. And but you also mustn't forget that under Unai Emery, we reached our first European final for 13 years, which a lot of people forgot. We had an unbeaten run of 20. We had an unbeaten run of 22 games where you didn't hear anybody complaining. Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to interview his former Real Sociedad teammate Imanol Diakes, who managed Real Zaragoza. And he made a very interesting point to me when I spoke to him, when he said that when you are approached by a club, you hope project to you when they tell you that they that's what a manager hopes for. But in sometimes you don't always get that, because it can be sometimes that chairman, for example, or chief executives, they may say one thing to you, but they might mean something completely different. So obviously we move on as a club, and there is signs of life, there is signs of progression, but everybody wants to move forward. Everybody wants Arteta to do well. We are still fighting for silverware on two fronts, but I think in terms of a clear difference where you'll be able to say that's Mikel Arteta's team with his players, I think that will be more towards the end of the season evident, and perhaps certainly the beginning of next season, I think, when he's had the whole pre-season to train them day in, day out, and work in potential new signings, for example.
And Ryan, you usually see a new coach bump, but have we kind of had it, our bump now, or it hasn't been that noticeable? It's been a blip.
Yeah, and I think that goes to show how much Emery fucked stuff up here. I think that shows how bad he was. I think we're really gonna project Arteta as a manager. I think the players are gonna do a good job. I think again, it's early, like James said, it's early to tell. We don't know, but I think what we have going for us is Arteta used to be captain of Arsenal. He was Arsenal through and through. He led this team. And when he was playing, I never thought he was like that good of a player. I never think he was really great for us, but he was a great leader. And I think
he was the metronome of the midfield. He kept the ball moving,
which is our weakest point right now. But so I'm excited to see him lead this team going forward, because in a bunch of our Arspros podcasts, we had a few podcasts where we talked about leadership, because we don't have any. We have no leadership. Our last I guess you want to say leader, quotation marks here, that we had, cried and demanded his way to.
Oh, I wouldn't call him a leader.
That's why I use the quotation marks. He cried his way to Bordeaux and demanded him to leave.
Yeah.
His own kids made him cry when talking about Arsenal. So, I mean, for whatever that's worth. And then, I guess our last leader, even after him, got cursed out by the fans, but whatever. So it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. And I think the perfect person to bring in was probably, you could say that BFG was a good leader too, but our last true leader, who I thought was our best leader, is Arteta. So I think he's a perfect person to bring in and kind of lead these guys and kind of shape them up. And hopefully we could maybe bring in someone that could lead this team. Because as of now, I really don't see a player that could kind of take the reins in our 11. Maybe Bellerin, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
James, going into Europe for a new coach, it's only 10 games into his tenure. Do you see a step up in levels there, or is it sort of just another game?
There will be a step up in level. There will be. This is, there's no easy games in Europe. It may sound cliche, but we are facing one of the most notorious away days that a team can face, going to play Olympiacos in Athens in the first leg. Dropped down from the Champions League, have been in a group with, I think it was Bayern Munich, I think Red Star Belgrade and Tottenham. And, one of the toughest draws we could have got, I believe. And we're going to have to fight to get a positive result. We are, for the fans that are still hoping for Champions League football, and I can understand their hopes, this Europa League is the most feasible route to that, in my opinion. But you've also got to remember that this is our third Europa League, and possibly the most sternest test we're going to face in terms of teams left in the competition.
Most difficult campaign this will be.
Yeah. You got the likes of.
I would agree with you if this was yesterday. Before Man City got banned, I would have been like, "Yeah, Europe is our best league." But I don't know, man. Top 5. I'm licking my lips a little. I'm excited. We're still definitely far away, but hey, you're saying there's a chance. I'm all in, man.
Well, you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
That old movie, please. So you're saying there's a chance.
Ryan, confidence. It's fantastic. It's fantastic to still have that confidence, and that can only be a good thing. It also needs to be praised among supporters. So I'll definitely praise you on that. But my own personal opinion is, if we're gonna get Champions League football, we need to win the Europa League, I think. And you only need to.
I tend to agree with that, James.
Sorry.
I tend to agree with that as well. Ever since mid-December, it's been the case.
Yeah. For me, once Unai Emery was sacked, and then you start the uncertainty of an interim manager and identifying a new manager. When that process was kicked off, that's for me when I kind of gave up hope of top 4 this season. That's just my personal opinion. But
it's top 5.
About the team.
And the other thing it does, Ryan, is it drops the net down to the Europa League, to where we could probably drop into that 7th or 8th place. Would do it now.
I mean, I might be the minority in this one, but if we don't get Champions League, I don't want Europa. I don't want to say it's a waste of time. That's kind of a bit dramatic,
but it's a waste of time.
But yeah, it's a waste of time. I'm not traveling to Azerbaijan on a Thursday night to watch us play. It's rough, and like I can't remember the year, but like Liverpool didn't make it in. I think they won the league the next year. Chelsea did it. I think the last year they had Mourinho for the second time. They finished 13th in the league. They finished 13th, got nothing. They come back with Conte. They won the league. Mm-hmm. Obviously, different situations, different circumstances. I understand that, but I just think we might be better off. I mean, money comes into play at that point, so then my arm's kind of tied to where I'm like, okay, maybe we do need Europa just for the sheer wages and the money aspect of it. But as far as playing, I don't know. I don't want it. And on top of that, yes, top 5, but I also agree with you too. I do think our best way is Europa, but I give us more of a chance for the top 5 just because, this whole season, no one really wants top 4. Chelsea's dropped points, Tottenham's dropped points, Man U, which I love. Hate Man U. But anyways, so it's crazy to see all these teams not want top 4. But now you're saying, okay, cool, no one wants top 4, and now you're gonna open up another spot to us. It's like, all right, like now it's like, come on, this needs to wake us up. Like, game on. Like, no one wants top 4. Cool. Like, at least get 5th. Like, I'm not asking. I'm not asking for the whole chocolate bar. Just a little piece. Just a little piece. Sneak on in.
We could be waking up, or we could be teased once more, James. As the Arsenal fan base, we're just being teased one more. 5th place is there.
Yeah, possibly. I think it's a little bit of a tease. And also,
it is, yeah.
The fact remains we haven't won a European trophy for 26 years. And the fact also remains that this is our 3rd crack of the whip in the Europa League. under what will be the third manager in that respect. And we've lost to the likes of Barty Borisov, we've lost to the likes of Ruin,
Yeah.
the likes of Cologne. This is beneath us because it's clearly not. So it's an opportunity to hopefully win the European trophy. We had a tremendous chance back in May, and everybody blew it, from the manager to the players to the whole run up to that final. It was a collective where we absolutely blew it. And
I didn't watch along for that. It was pretty bad. It was pretty desperate.
Yeah, it was very bad. I mean, I
wanted a few beers.
Yeah,
I wanted to drown my sorrows, James.
Yeah, it was awful. I was watching it with a friend of mine here. I decided against going to Baku. I was watching it with an Arsenal friend of mine, and I said to him at halftime, it's as if the players don't seem to understand what is at stake. Not just at Champions League, which would have been a fantastic bonus, but the fact to win our first European trophy in 26 years. And it kind of like petered out, and to lose 4-1 in the fashion we did. I mean, I even was fortunate enough to interview the Arsenal legend, Bob Wilson. And when we spoke about what happened there in Baku, he even said himself travelling with the Arsenal to that final and how it all panned out was rather disappointing.
Yeah. I was at a bar. I was wasted. I was not happy. I actually found out that day that I love sour beer. I'm in love with sour beer.
That was one good thing from the day.
I found a positive.
There you go. That's kind of a positive, right? Big up to everybody in the comment section. Want to go after what Tony, we call him Tina Turner here. I'm curious how much Arteta experiments in league matches the rest of the season, Ryan. So Arteta's pretty much got a free hit till the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, most people, I want to say like myself, wrote the season off, but again, I know
we don't get relegated.
Top 5, baby. Top 5. That's all we need. But yeah, I mean, when we had Emery constantly was like plugging and like experimenting. And at first I was like, cool, he wants to see what works. But then I don't know. Sometimes you just you're trying to make a recipe and then you add too much stuff in. You're like, oh, what if I do this? What if I throw this? And it's like, all right, like now you're just being a fucking idiot. But I think with Arteta, again, harping this again, like he's an Arsenal through and through. He's a legend. I think could bite him in the ass, maybe, with playing certain players, not to be named. I'll give you a hint with Big O. But yeah, he does. And I think he's in a very fortunate position to where like a lot of fans already wrote the season off. And I think he can experiment. And I think, my personal opinion, I had I don't want to say an argument, but I had a little debate with Andrew from Dallas Square to Where. And I think that our Europa trip last year was a lot harder than it is going to be this year. I think that, don't get me wrong, I think there's great teams that are playing this year. But last year, I think we avoided a lot of teams. I think we avoided like Lazio, Inter Milan, Dortmund. I mean, not Dortmund. We avoided, I know, a lot of big teams until the very end. Like, we had to play Napoli. Valencia's, I don't think they should have really made the semifinal. They're okay. But I think this Europa, I think we have to really just avoid. I think Inter Milan's with us too. I think Inter Milan.
There's a lot of good teams in there.
And there's a lot of like good, like our away trips are going to be tough. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like if we get like you were saying, which I agree, I think Olympiacos can be a very tough task. But if we get Olympiacos at the Emirates, we're going to bury them. If we have Arteta having these guys with the fitness, we're going to bury them. And I know, James, I saw the look. I know you're skeptical. I really do think if we can bring them together, we will bury them. Can
we score more than 2 goals right now?
Again, to me, it depends on Arteta and how Dubai and how he gets these players. And I think tomorrow is maybe not the best test because we are playing a weaker team, but it's the Premier League. Anything could happen. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, James, go ahead.
First and foremost, I respect the opinion of every Gooner. You will always find me first.
Here we go.
Every Gooner. But as someone who was at the majority of Europa League home games last season, I only missed the games against Karabag and Valencia. Rennes in particular, I thought we was quite lucky. I know we won 3-0.
We were.
But they hit the post in that game. They made substitutions, which kind of led to their fall. And you make a good point at the semi-final. Valencia were, I think they'd only lost, when we played them in the first leg, I think they'd only lost like 3 times in 55 games, something like that. I mean, they had an awful lot of draws.
But do you think those teams are on our level, though, in terms of skill?
But this tournament in particular, history tells you that there's always one team which reaches the final which nobody expects. For example, Marseille in 2018, Ajax in 2017, and I don't
Arsenal
think this year's going to be
year.
any different. Arsenal last year, you
we
can
earned
make a
that.
case. You had Dnipro, I believe, many years ago too. So I think the big hitters will make progress, but I think there'll also be a few surprises. I think Wolfsburg are a good side. Bayer Leverkusen are a good side. FC Porto are a good side. So we're going to have to respect every opponent should we face them, and it's going to be a real tough ask to win our 26-year wait to win a European trophy again.
Yeah,
James, do you think we should experiment in the league matches for the rest of the season?
Well, I don't think Ryan will be too happy with that, with the quest for 5th for top 5. But I think that it's something I would do.
We're not going to beat Ryan over the head about this because it was his first appearance on the channel.
Yeah,
I'm taking a lot of things over the head. Bring it on. I'm ready.
I would experiment. There's no reasons why you shouldn't. As you say, he's got a half a season, like not a free hit, but he's got freedom and space to do and employ his methods. So he's got to take up that opportunity, and hopefully that will stand us in good stead for next season.
I mean, I just have positivity just running through my veins because I think we could experiment and we should experiment, and I still think we can get top 4. As long as Aubameyang doesn't play center back, I think we could. We have the pieces. We have Saka playing out of position. You have Xhaka playing everywhere in the back. I really do think the world is Arteta's oyster, and I think he could do whatever he wants to an extent, and really kind of see what works, what not works. And I think he kind of has an idea ready. And again, competition, bringing these guys in, doing his thing. I'm excited. I hope he Frankensteins this bitch and we just experiment until the end of the season and probably get 6th, but whatever. Hopefully it's a hell of a ride.
Okay, Ryan, I've stopped looking at this since December, but the gap to the top 4 is 10 points.
Oh, 10 of those 9.
It could be 8 points to 5th place. We're 8 points behind Sheffield United. We can do it. It's going to be tough to overcome in 12 games, 13 games, James?
Yeah, it's after tomorrow. After tomorrow, there's 12 games left.
Yep. And a win tomorrow will get us into 10th place.
Are we in 10th place?
Sorry?
We're 11th right now.
11th.
Burnley won earlier today.
Oh, they beat Southampton. Yeah. Okay. We'll see.
All right. Okay. On Ozil, I feel that he is just aging, Ryan. He is a diminishing force, and we probably got maybe 2 or 3 good years out of him. And do you see Ozil as the way to go forward for the rest of the season?
That's very generous of you saying 2 to 3 seasons. I don't know if we've gotten that many out of him, but
because of the fan base is very varied on this one.
Me and Ozil have a bit of a history. He growing up, I'll be honest, he's my favorite player growing up. When he broke onto the scene with the German national team in 2008, I was in love. I had a little bit of a crush. Then he, was in Real Madrid.
Top 4 just like you.
Yeah. And then, I loved him in Real Madrid. And then when he came to Arsenal, I was like, cool, let's get married. I'm in for this for the long haul. I put that ring on his finger, and he did nothing but cheat, lie, and essentially spit in my face. He had that one good season that we should have won the league against Leicester. I'll give him that. But the last couple of years, just he's dead to me. It's tough with his wages and the money he's getting. We got to figure out a way to get rid of him. I just don't know. Like Arteta says all these things about how he wants to build a team around him. Me personally, I think he's giving Ozil the rope to hang himself. I think he's playing him game in and game out so he could literally show. I don't want to say fraud. That's kind of harsh. Some of my brothers would probably say fraud, but kind of show what kind of player he really is these days and how he's not fit to play for the shirt. But I think it just simply comes down to just he's old. He's 31. You know, he'll be 32 in October, and which is kind of far, but nonetheless, he can't do what he used to do. I mean, if you've seen the last few games, like some of his passes to Martinelli were just very weighted and just not on target. It's just for me, as much as I want to, bury him in my backyard and burn the divorce papers over his dead body. I feel bad for him. I feel sorry for him. I really do.
Yeah. Ryan, do you see him moving on this summer, or is he going to stick it out another 16 months till the end of his contract? He really should be moving on in the summertime.
It's tough because to me, it's going to come down to because I don't think a team is going to pick up his wages. So it really comes down to like how much are we willing to pay to get him out of here. Personally, I think maybe the board even have like these rose-colored glasses, and I think they just see the name Mesut Ozil. They see him on all the Adidas merchandise, and now that our Adidas is our sponsor, I think I said it to one of my friends. I think that holds the key to it. I think the fact that he's like one of Adidas is his biggest sponsor. It'd be tough for us to let him go, even last year. So it's tough. Yeah, exactly. He's old man Ozil.
James, you in all of your interviews, you probably never have come across a situation like this. It's a unique situation. Only Arsenal could manufacture this type of situation.
Well, it all starts for me. This whole scenario that we find ourselves in now starts for me when the revelation was that Ozil signed an contract extension, and the official reasons why the contract extension was given was because the then manager and board decided it would cost us more money to replace him, which I did not believe, but it's true.
Yeah.
Obviously, with his wages, he's very, very comfortable, and also with the expectancy levels of when you ask me to pick games that Ozil has really shone, I think of Ludogorets away, and I think of Leicester at home.
Right, five fingers on my hand. I wouldn't go to two hands. Leicester at home. You're right. Last season. Games. Yeah, and he played quite well in the FA Cup final against Chelsea.
Yeah,
possibly, but then with that FA Cup final against Chelsea, everybody remembers the tremendous performance of Mertesacker, having played 37 minutes all season and keeping a very dangerous Diego Costa at bay. These are the things that we all remember, and it's just you hope it can be resolved. I don't know if it's been ratified yet, but I heard that Arteta blocked a move for Ozil to leave the club on the last day of the transfer window.
Yeah, Qatar. I don't believe that shit. No way.
But as I say, I don't know if it's been ratified. But if that is the case, then the point that Brian makes, but obviously Arteta believes in him and still wants to use him, then obviously that's the case. But you hope it can be resolved sooner rather than later, because if you've got a dressing room where someone is earning an awful lot more than his compatriots, then you don't know what kind of feelings and problems could arise from that.
Yeah, I think Tony also brought up a very good point with the Sanchez and Ozil thing, which I was going to bring up before. I also think a big reason why we signed that contract extension was because we didn't want to let both of our stars go. We knew Sanchez was on his way; he was forcing his way out. So essentially, Arsenal put this tail between its legs and was like, "Well, we got to just literally give Ozil a blank check, and he's just going to fill it out because we can't lose both guys."
The PR would have been so bad at the time.
Yeah, it would have looked terrible. So, me personally, of course, hindsight's 2020, but I agree with Tony. I think we should have gotten rid of both of them and kind of built up from there. And I agree with James. I don't think it would have cost us more to fix the problem and bring someone else in for Ozil. But we did what we did. And at the time, I was still kind of sucking on that Ozil teat a little bit. So I was like happy he was staying. But biggest mistake of my life.
You must get razzed a lot, Ryan, on that podcast.
Oh, If you go back to the early podcast, oh yeah, it's bad. It gets because I back when I was first getting on, I was still like, I would still wear my Ozil jersey, all that jazz. Now it's just I'm kind of almost like the anti-Ozil leader now, just because I feel like I've been to hell and back with him, and I've been and I've experienced like all kinds of emotions with him, which sounds kind of odd for someone I've never met before, but yeah.
James, how do you think Pepe's feeling right now at this point in the season? He hasn't had a terrible season, but he hasn't really lit it up either, and he's still maybe acclimatizing to the country and the league and teammates.
Possibly yes. I mean, they say that it takes time, but there's still time this season to turn it around in terms of having a positive influence and a positive impact, and that's the same for the entire squad as well. And
redemption is still at hand for all of the squad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you put in the effort, then and you try to make progression. I mean, the thing with Pepe as well, coming from Lille qualified for the Champions League. This is unheard of in France, and he was a key part of that with goals and assists. And I was at the match where he scored against Manchester United. He's earlier on in the season where Aubameyang gave up his penalty for him to score his first, I believe, his first goal for Arsenal. These are little things that can help, and I think as soon as he's up and running and played regularly, I mean, you saw, even though it was a defeat at Anfield back in, I think it was the end of August, he's running at Van Dijk at full pace, and scaring the living daylights out of him. So if we can see that more often going into at the end of this season and also at the beginning of next season, I think there'll still be some interesting times ahead.
Right,
yeah, I'm confused why he's not playing for us. Very confused. If you look at like all of our wins, he's had a part to play in each of our wins. I think except for maybe one game, he's had a goal or an assist in every game that we've won. So I'm a little baffled, but I mean, again, I'm not with the players on the training pitch, so I don't know. I don't know what goes on.
I noticed Arteta was talking about the team also helping Pepe as well as Pepe bringing the effort as well. So there's a symbiotic nature to that, James. So
Mexican stand-up.
You fell away halfway through.
Arteta had said that the team also needs to help Pepe as well as Pepe needing to help the team. So I actually think that he will play tomorrow.
I hope so.
I would play him tomorrow. I hope he plays tomorrow, and I hope he plays an important part in the win tomorrow.
I feel like he has to.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Just based on what he did against Burnley, like tactics wise, I think Pepe kind of has to play.
Yeah.
And we all agreed that the forward three should be Martinelli, Aubameyang, and Pepe. Anyone different?
Yeah.
If anyone says otherwise, I need to see a psychiatrist.
All right, so who would play behind those three?
I mean, ideally, we never tried it, but I want to see a midfield three of Tarek, Guendouzi, and Xhaka. Me personally, well, if I really want to have it my way, I would have Maitland-Niles in, but that's not going to happen just based on everything that's going on. But yeah, I would love to see a midfield three.
Is there enough creativity there?
I mean, I think just I guess not really. I really want to see how Guendouzi can develop because I think Guendouzi can have that creativity, or maybe even put a Ceballos in there. But I really like the way we play with Pepe. I don't know if we've played with Pepe and Martinelli on the wings yet, but I want to see them both on the wings just based on the fact that their hard work, their creativity on the sidelines. Martinelli just pressing forward like a bull in a china shop, and Pepe with just his sheer technical ability of dribbling past players and making them look like fools. But yeah, I mean, creativity in the midfield is an issue, but that's been an issue. I mean, taking Ozil out doesn't do anything. What has he had in what is it? I forget the stat I read. It's like in his last, I think this year he's been involved in only one goal.
One assist.
It might be not even this Premier League season. This whole entire season, he's been in part of one goal. So I mean, taking him out is not really going to take any creativity away.
I've been saying on this podcast he's really good at the pre-assist, Ryan.
Yeah. So me and a bunch of guys,
That's the thing.
some Ars Bros, we do watch alongs. We'll get on together and we'll watch the game together. And I think he has a couple, and I've caught each one, and I sarcastically build it up, and I get yelled at. But yeah, I don't cool. He's a good wingman to bring to a bar. Yay.
James, do you think Guendouzi can progress? He's the one player that I've seen has not really improved under Arteta.
Really? Oh my God, I love Guendouzi. He's my new man, by the way.
He's still very, very young. And you think of the progression he's had from Lorient to Arsenal can be a bit of a step up.
Yeah.
And I think he tries very, very hard. And there's definitely times where I think he wants to make that impact just that little bit too much. So I think if he just takes a step back and just calms down a little bit, I think that will help him. Just to elaborate on what Tony just said about the contract extensions, that's a tremendous point. Saka has 18 months left to run. Saka is the future in terms of a left back. Saka is currently on £3,000 a week, which is very little money for a very, very young, hot prospect. And we've got to tie him and Martinelli down for the long term. We've always had a great history at this club of having tremendous left backs. You know, Ashley Cole, for example, Nigel Winterburn, Kenny Sampson, of course. And I watched him in the home game against Sheffield United. I thought he was our best player. And I saw him bearing down the wing, looking for space, looking for help from experienced players. And some didn't really give him openings at times. And I think Tony makes a great point. I hope that Saka in particular is going to be tied down to the long term, because they say that the likes of Liverpool, Bayern Munich and Manchester United are looking at securing his services.
So now you think that Saka is going to be our future left back? You see him as a left back, not a left winger or anything like that?
I personally see him as a left back, but that's just my opinion. I think he's still very young. He's got an awful lot to learn still, but he's bags of pace and a fantastic attitude as well.
Yeah, I've yet to hear someone that says that, but I agree.
Work on. But
I agree.
I think Saka is we haven't had much to shout about this season, but the likes of Saka and Martinelli and the young players coming through, I think there's good signs of life for the future.
He's also deceptively strong. If you watch him play, I think it was Lundstrom from Sheffield. He bullied him off the ball, and Lundstrom's a big dude. Lundstrom's a big guy. So I don't want to say, I want to say I've yet to hear anyone think Saka as a left back, but I have to agree. I think it's where he's played the best for us. I know he made his name as a left winger, but I am curious to see him as a left back. Now, if that happens, these Kieran Tierney rumors may have some truth to him with us wanting to sell him now. I don't believe it right now, but
I don't believe that. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting if we do see Saka and convert Saka to a full-time left back.
Shout out to Mahir in the comments. Mahir, I left you a link if you do want to join us from Good News. Go ahead, James.
I was going to say, if we're an hour ahead here in the Netherlands, as you know, if my hair wants to come on as my super sub, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to have to.
Mahir, if you want to tag in for James, go right ahead and join us.
Yeah, Ryan, it's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it. You made some great points.
You too,
and
man,
I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
You will.
Thanks, James.
Definitely will.
Appreciate your input.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Enjoy the game tomorrow. For the viewers, I'll leave them with my prediction of a 2-1 win. I hope everybody enjoys the game. Thanks for having me on, and I'll see you all again soon.
All right. Thanks, James.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
So, Ryan, if Ozil is now the person who divides the Arsenal fan base, and Xhaka maybe pretty soon or has been, do you think Guendouzi has potential to divide the fan base as well? Guendouzi.
He kind of already does. A podcast that the Ars Bros, especially Max. He appears on every now and then. A very nice dude, Fergus. He runs a podcast called Guns and Yellow Ribbons, which you guys should check out. Good podcast.
Yeah.
He is not the biggest Ganduzi fan, which I don't get because I'm the biggest. I love Ganduzi. I love him so. Like I just I want to like go to his house and paint his nails. We're like girlfriends, but whatever. Point is, he's
got
someone.
gray hair and you've got a great beard.
I know, right? Great hairy kids. He's someone we've been lacking for so long. He's just such an asshole, and I just love how he winds up the crowd.
Yeah.
He winds up the team. We needed that for so long, and seeing him do it, like I don't even care if he loses the ball. I think a few weeks ago there was a stat out there that he was the most dribbled past player. I don't know if it was on our. I think it was on our team, which still crazy, but nonetheless, I don't even care. He just winds the other team up. He winds. We need that asshole on our team, and I'd love to have him. I'm just so excited now. I think Arteta kind of has to kind of keep him in check, where it's like, cool, like we need you to do these things, awesome. But he's got to just be disciplined in his positioning. His positioning is not the best. He does cry for fouls a little too much for my liking. I think it was not our last game or second to last game. He got fouled, and before the ref could even blow his whistle, he got up and screamed for a foul, which is something that I, as a footballer myself, I can't stand. So some things of his game need to be kind of twitched. But again, he's 20 years old. I'm okay. I can wait. As they say, when your long-term boyfriend or husband go to jail, I will wait for him. I will wait for you when you come out, and I'm going to wait for him because I'm excited to see what he could do for us.
Make him a cake and put a file in there.
Oh, yeah. I comb too. Yeah, comb that hair. But yeah.
My welcome. Gun to News, my co-host.
Yo, are you guys okay?
I think Ryan covered a lot of things with Guendouzi that we all feel, and the good points and the bad points. What's your take on Guendouzi?
Hit the nail on the head. We some of us are his biggest fans, and others are his biggest critics because, as you do know, we want to see the youngsters progress and get better and better and better in time. Somebody like Guendouzi, the critic I personally have of Guendouzi is that he loses the ball a lot, he gets dispossessed, but the passion that he shows, I mean, it's second to none in that team at the moment. Of all the midfielders, of all the players, to be honest with you guys. My only critique is like him becoming a little bit more physical, but like you guys have just said, it's a kid. He's literally a kid. He's literally a kid that got plucked from obscurity. Not that it's any disrespect to League 2s and League 3s of other countries, French League, German League, etc. But it's something in time he's going to learn. He's going to learn to do really well. And it's quite exciting to know that he chose the Arsenal, he chose our team to be a part of that rebuild, as per se.
Yeah, Ryan, we're going to linger on your favorite topic here a little bit, Guendouzi. Here's my take on it. Wonderful hair. Sometimes I could get him confused with David Luiz, but
fix it for him.
All the things that both of you said is correct. A lot of the things that he has in his locker, you can't coach that. You can't coach his willingness to get in a ruck when things kick off in the middle of the field, when there's a foul on somebody. He's there. He's the first one. He's the minder, especially the Lacazette, who probably can't hold his own in those situations. Yeah, he's totally annoying. If he was a Tottenham player, I would hate him because
I would burn his jersey if he was our player.
If you sneeze on him, he drops. He buys foul. But that's a good thing to relieve pressure from us. Harry Kane's been making a career out of it. Possibly the things that he's very deficient in can be coached out of it or into his game. I think Arteta should and could help him with being positionally aware, being in the right place and not getting caught, not getting dribbled past. Ryan.
And I think also people forget, since he came from League Two, he wasn't with the academy. He didn't come up through the U23s. He wasn't a stud in the U23s. Dude came out of nowhere, and he put in a good preseason, and he was a golden boy. So that junk can have an effect on people. And when players kind of do that, initially fans are like, oh, I can do nothing wrong. He's our next, before Martinelli and all that, like he was like the guy. So now all of a sudden now we're finding flaws. Like, are you really surprised? Like he came from League Two in France. Like he didn't, like I said, he wasn't worked into the squad. He hadn't played a game for the U23s. He's never played a game. He came right into the first team. So yeah, it's a little tough. And again, I keep harping. He's a kid. He can't even get into a strip club or a drink in America. Couldn't do it. Can't see titties. Can't do it. He's 20 years old.
He's sending his mates in there to get it for him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I might have to. But
yeah, go get me something. I'll look out for you on the field. Go get me something.
But like you said, Ryan, it's like, for example, when Martinelli first came into the club, I see today, honestly, who on earth is this kid? Like, why are we buying unknown names? But look how it's turned out to be.
Yeah.
Look
and
how
you can spend, 72 million, you can spend 35 million, you can spend 40 million, and you can spend 6 million, Ryan. It doesn't, the fee doesn't tell you what you're going to get.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still fanning myself when we're talking about Guendouzi, but I'm very excited about Martinelli because I think he brings a different dynamic to the team, and I think again he brings something to the table that we haven't had in a while. Just someone that's going to run through buildings for this team. Yeah, you could say certain players have it and whatnot, but just the work ethic he has, he chases after every ball, even though he probably isn't going to get to it. The youngsters, I don't want to get too worked up because they are still too young for me, but I'm liking these youngsters a little too much.
Well, your track record with Ozil's not so great, so I'm not getting tired of that.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's one man that's still on the wage bill. I honestly feel that there is a replacement somewhere. You want to know something funny? I'm really surprised we didn't get Ziyech as a replacement for Ozil. Unfortunately, Ozil has died out. He's only, Ryan, let's be honest, he's only had maybe 2 good seasons in all the time he's been.
I think he's had less. I think he had 1.5, maybe. Give him credit.
Maybe like 1.
Yeah.
I mean, Ziyech, it would have been a steal. Honestly, I can't believe Chelsea went and just did that move right there. It's secured.
Ryan, do you think the club should be more forthright in trying to announce, like Chelsea have announced they've got Ziyech? You want to hear something from Arsenal, right?
I do, but I don't in the fact that we're trying to build chemistry, we're trying to build tactics, and we're trying to get these players, like you said, the pressure's on, time to put up or shut up. And if we announce a player that's not in the team coming in, then the players are like, whoa, who's getting replaced? If we announce a midfielder, let's just say, the whole midfield is going to be like, whoa, I'm leaving. Like, why? I don't give a fuck. The seasons are right up anyway. We're 11th place. Europa's not looking great, but we could do it. But you expect me to play like my life depends on it when you're already bringing in my replacement. You already announced my replacement. So I personally don't like that. I guess as a fan, it's good to know what we have coming in, but thinking about it long term, I definitely don't like that. And I don't want that. And yes, Tony Turner, that is my dream. Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid into our midfield I would run around my house with very minimal clothing if we could sign that man. I've been after him for so long. I think he's a great defensive midfielder. Towel optional, but yeah, I'm excited. Well, let's get music talk. It's bringing the worst out of me. I'm sorry.
2 squares of toilet paper strung together with floss.
I would think I need maybe like 3 pieces of toilet paper, but who am I?
That'd be a string technically, right? Well, Ryan, wouldn't you want, as a fan, to see the clubs tying up these deals? It seems like we have to have faith so much as Arsenal fans. We have to have faith, and for me, I'm really waiting till the summertime. If they don't come big in the summertime, I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
Oh yeah, no, we got to make signings, 100%. There's no question about it. I
And
don't
big
want
signing.
I don't want these players to lose the mindset of getting the Champions League, making that push. Because I do think if we'd announce someone like right now, I think some players don't. And that's the thing too. Our mentality has been shit too. Arsenal's mentality hasn't been the best either. So putting this all into like a vacuum, like, oh, we're gonna bring another player and someone's getting replaced. I don't agree with it. I think you should be fighting for your spot. I think you should be competing no matter what, week in and week out. But these players, some of these players' mentality, it's not the
It's
best.
shocking. It's shocking.
It's like a toothpick.
That's
Yeah,
why
you don't-
she's probably shocked because we're talking about G strings and floss, and
I feel like I'm on the Arse Bros. What do you know? I'm feeling right at home.
that's the wife looking in.
Thanks for talking with us. It's lovely having a new face on, and we just love to keep the banter going. Whether it be post-match, pre-match analysis, players coming in, players coming out, rumors, etc. I mean, even the unrest. I don't know if you guys saw. I'm sure you guys saw. Even Emery bad mouthing all that's been wrong at Arsenal, saying even Arsenal's gotten worse since he's been. Guys, like what was going on with that whole situation was an absolute mess.
He just wants a job. This is his way to put his resume into the football world without calling clubs.
But when you guys are like in the real world, right? If you're looking for a job, do you badmouth on the company that you left? You tell everybody, you tell this company that you're working for currently all the bad things about. Oh no, my boss this. Oh no, the employees were like this. No, you don't
I
say
think in his
anything.
mind he's just trying to set the record straight a little bit, you know.
But seriously, I mean, the whole thing was a mess. The mismanaging of players, also putting them in the unnatural positions, that upset a lot of things also going forward. Because, like I say, there was a lot of too many draws. Even in today's time, there's too many draws because it's still unsettling. I mean, even from that time already, when Emery left.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Ryan,
agree.
go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was saying I agree. I mean, I didn't want to do this. I don't want to defend Emery. I'm not defending Emery. I was as big. I did not want him to take over this club. I was very upset when they hired him. But when a bunch of players, talk about you and say, "Oh, things are so much better here. The grass is greener." What do you know? If I'm Emery, I'm coming out and I'm defending myself 100%. So I completely understand what he's doing. I just think him blaming fans makes absolutely no sense, and him just like picking out certain things and saying the way he says certain things, it's like, all right, dude, stop talking. Like, we get it, you're defending yourself, but like, you want to just like slowly face palm him off the camera, like get him out of here. But I don't know. He needs to find a job, and I think also too, he's a little upset that clubs haven't called him after he left Arsenal. He thought maybe he would get a few calls. Oh, hey, I was with Arsenal, 22 games unbeaten. Yeah. Well, no one cared.
Might have lost 4-1. I'll get there.
Yeah.
Ryan, how enthusiastic are you for the future? Meaning, this was a season. We talked about this in the podcast all last summer. Older players leave. We had to do a clear out. We cleared out a lot of players last year. You could go. There's so many names that fans actually forget. People like Welbeck and Czech.
I love that guy. That guy. That's one thing we talk about on our Arse Bros. We love Welbeck. We were upset.
Actually left the club. Yeah, I mean, on a free as well. We could have got some spare change for him as well. But
I think it's what we need.
The point is, we moved a lot of players. We moved some wingers on Mkhitaryan. We sold Iwobi. So Mahir and I always saw this was going to be Project Youth, especially the wingers we have. The young players are coming in. I'm a little bit disappointed Emile Smith-Rowe didn't get a run in the team, whereas other players are. But are you excited for the coming year or years with these young players? If we treat them right, put them on contracts, we're going to keep them for years, and they're going to blossom.
I mean, hey, as long as Ganduzi's in the squad, I got nothing to worry about. No, but I am excited. I was a big fan of Smith Rowe when he was playing for the U23s. I thought he was a big guy. He plays in the center of the park. He does his thing. He creates chances. He's willing to fight for balls. I thought he'd be the great guy to replace Ozil. The few games he did play for us, I didn't think he was that good. He wasn't very commanding. It seemed like he was a little nervous, which I can't argue with him playing on one of the biggest stages. So I think the loan was definitely needed. And, hey, he's bossing in Huddersfield, so good for him. Hopefully he comes back with that confidence, and he could definitely make a run in this team for sure. So I'm a huge Smith Rowe fan. But yeah, as far as the rest of the guys, I'm excited as long as they again don't think that their spot is all written in pen on the starting 11. Then yeah, I'm excited. We just need the competition. And as you know, when you play for Arsenal, I'm gonna have obviously a level of respect for you as being such a big fan, but I want to slowly get these veterans out of here, man, because in my opinion, you would think that these veterans would try to see our young guys playing so well and playing with such passion. You would think these veterans would kind of step up a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're doing the opposite. These young players are outshining our veterans right now. Yeah. This should not be happening. So it's almost like the veterans are getting offended, and they're like, "Oh, like fuck these guys." But
Arteta needs to create the environment where where the competition is there. Look at Martinelli. The difference between, say, Emile Smith Rowe and Martinelli. Emile Smith Rowe went into that dressing room, looked around, and said, "Oh shit, I don't feel comfortable around here with all these established players." Martinelli doesn't give a fuck.
No, he said, "I'm going to make my place. This is my position now. This is my position. You're gonna slip up.
Yeah,
I'm going to be the first one that they call starting, and I'm going to play 4 games if you just slip up once." I like this thing Tony said about are we ever going to play Ceballos, Tony Turner?
Yeah, are we ever going to play Ceballos?
Yeah, that's a big thing. I don't know. I don't think he's a good 10. We tried him at the 10 for like 1 or 2 games. He's not that good.
Look, Ryan, maybe not number 10, but can he play next to he can play as a number 8 next to
I would love to play him in midfield 3. Yeah, I agree. I do want to see him play. I just think that I hear things that he's not good, like not the friendliest of people. And I also too we brought up in the From Dallas Square to Where podcast, I think he made some comments like 5 years ago about how he wants to bomb the Catalans. I'm phrasing, but he wanted to bomb the Catalans and wipe out all the bastards that are in it. And Arteta is from that area, and he hasn't apologized. So I can see him and Arteta not getting along. So
yeah, that's heavy. The comments that I heard recently was he was opting for a move now in January, but he's willing to give us something back. He wants to show us fans or supporters. He wants to give at least something back before he leaves, or if he leaves.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him play. I really want to see him play. I guess I just feel like there's so many things going against him right now. It's gonna be very tough. But don't get it twisted though. I really want to see him play. I definitely think he could play as a dual 8 or a midfield 3.
His energy and his intensity when it comes to playing. But I personally think like they've used him more in a number 10 role, which I don't think he's suited for. But like we said, a number 8. What if he plays next to Torreira? And then you just go with maybe a flat 3 up front, maybe Pepe on the right hand side, Martinelli up front. Martinelli up front and Oba on the left, or Oba up front, Martinelli on the left, Pepe on the right. Then you play a midfield pairing of Ceballos and Torreira. And then in the back line, you introduce Marie tomorrow and David Luiz. And I can't wait for Tierney to come back, man. I hope he comes back stronger.
I'm excited for Tierney.
Because Tierney is personally, for me, he's somebody that's a really exciting player. He's got his defensive duties on lock, and he can go forward and actually put in a proper cross for one of our strikers or one of our attacking options.
Competition will be there when Tierney comes back, especially on the left-hand side, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely. And I personally think that number 10 is dead. I think the 10 is useless now. Yeah. You need a hardworking midfield. Look at Liverpool. I personally don't really rate Henderson that much, but there's talk he's in the race for like player of the year for the Premier League. Just because he's a captain of the best team. They're undefeated, and he works hard. And he does. I give him credit. He works hard. I don't think he's that good of a player, but he's a very hard worker. And
It's the same like James Milner. It's not one of those players that you think, oh, they're not like elite players, like, oh my God, like Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Again, character and heart makes up for a lot of things. So, Ryan, take a look at the ticker tape that's been going throughout the podcast. I'm going to talk about the teams that we have played, and you look at the teams that we're going to play. We played Bournemouth twice, one draw. We won in the FA Cup. We played Chelsea twice, lost one, drew one. Man United, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United. We played some decent teams, to be fair, to Arteta and Arsenal. It looks on paper like the lineup, the teams get a little bit easier here. A lot of home games, especially in the league. Newcastle, Everton, West Ham. Three of our next league games are at home in the Premier League. We really should be starting to win some games, Ryan.
Yeah. We have to. We literally have no choice. I'm excited. I'm definitely confident in Newcastle. Newcastle hasn't lost a game since New Year's Day, but I'm still extremely confident that we're gonna do the job.
Underestimate how good of a job Steve Bruce has been doing up there.
And we have Arteta. Fuck Steve Bruce. I ain't worried about Steve fucking Bruce. Like I said, I'm the only thing that would worry me, and I don't even want to say worry because I'll say worry, is if they start Andy Carroll. That's only he's an Arsenal killer.
All they have, right?
Yeah, I'm only worried about Andy Carroll, and he's still not even fit. He's been with the team for like so long. He's still not fit. I don't think he's played a full 90 for the team. So I'm not terribly worried, but like he's known to kind of thrash Arsenal teams.
It should be West Ham at home, but that Everton game, Ancelotti, that's going to be an interesting game.
I think so too, but I also think that I almost see Everton as like our little sister, who like, we watch the wrestling matches every day. We watch WWE all the time, and then once it's over, we'll perform the suplex on our sister. We'll suplex her onto the couch, DDT her onto the coffee table. They're kind of in the same situation as us. Not same situation, but like their fan base. I have a few close friends who are very, very big Everton fans. And every time I talk to them, just one more step, and I'm off the bridge. It's just they're in that same situation of they're not happy. And I think with our Ancelotti, I think they're kind of starting to turn the corner. But even the results aren't that great.
17 points since he was appointed.
Yeah, they're not even playing that great.
8 or 9.
They have Calvert-Lewin, who I think is going to be a good player. But again, I just think every time we play them, they're just our little sister that we just DDT in the coffee table after watching WWE. But,
how many points, Ryan, should we look for in these 3 games?
9.
No, yeah, 9. 9.
9.
I know 9 is German for no, but like all 9 points.
9.
All 9 points.
Yeah.
I was gonna say these are very winnable games, guys. Before we face Tottenham in I think it's about 4 weeks' time. There's another North London derby, and we play Liverpool as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, Tony says 3.
3 draws. That's what we've been doing.
3 draws, Tony. He wants that draw record, Brian. He's been on this podcast hanging on about the draw record. We only need 4 more draws to get the draw record for the English Premier League. And Tina Turner, I'm not going to say he's advocating for it, but he's advocating for it.
Oh my gosh!
I think we'd lose our minds. I would lose my mind if we lost tomorrow. I mean, that's
there's Stan the man. Thanks for coming in, Stan. Devil's advocate. What happens if we lose my year at Newcastle after all these draws?
We're gonna lose our minds.
If that actually happens, I will literally DT my sister onto a coffee table. I'll stream it if you guys want me to.
Ryan, no, please don't. We don't have to
violence.
I'll put a cushion there. I promise. She'll be all right. I used to do it all the time, so she should be immune to it now.
Oh, no. But like, what happens if we do lose, I think we're going to lose our minds because right now we can't. Top four is out of the question. Maybe top six. I know Manchester. Yeah.
Oh, he needs that
Yeah.
fifth place, baby.
Not quite, my
No,
here.
Manchester City have gotten the ban. We've all heard of it. Manchester getting the ban, but we still need to push. Like we've got nothing to lose right now, guys. We've got nothing to lose. So why not just go all guns blazing? Excuse the pun, all guns blazing, and just throw everything at the next few matches. Because somebody was saying, and this is true, if one team goes on a run of form of about six to seven matches, and with other teams dropping Tottenshire, that Calshite as well, Banda FC,
Manchester United. Manchester United.
yes, if they drop like they've been
Manchester
dropping,
United.
right? There's
Yeah.
there's a very slim possibility, but that run of form
You're
needs
still
to stop.
thinking about Guendouzi. Ryan, come back to us.
Top five.
Top
Top
five.
five.
I'm just excited. 5.
Sesame Street has been brought to you today by the number 5 and the letter G for Guendouzi.
Ooh. I could say another D that he's going to be getting later if he gets in the top 5, but I want to. My fiance somewhere here. I don't need to talk about that right now.
No.
But no, I agree. We need to send all of our. We need to go all guns blazing. I completely agree. But the only thing is, we should have done that. Like what? Let me see. Like 6 games
From
ago.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
took-
And we haven't.
Since
The fact that we
Crystal Palace-
haven't is. I don't think we're gonna. I don't think it's gonna change to Newcastle. But who knows? Maybe the Dubai trip, he got a nice massage. Maybe happy ending. Who knows what Arteta did? But hopefully he kind of can get his mind right and put all our attacking forces going forward. Especially since we're not really threatened by them.
We all want a happy ending at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if we can have a happy ending, we'll be happy.
Yeah. I'm excited. I really can't see us losing. If anything, we'll draw. But I just. Again, no, but like you said, if we lose, to me, it's because in a way, I almost wrote the season off. So to me, it's almost like how are we going to play? If we play extremely well and we get shafted by the refs again, that's one thing. But like, it's going to still be heartbreaking. I'm still going to go crazy. But
Unlucky.
Right now, what's your team for tomorrow?
oh, what's my starting 11?
Yes.
Who do I want or who do I think?
Who do you want?
Let's see, in goal,
You're our
Guendouzi. Left back, Guendouzi. Right back. No, I'm kidding. In goal, yeah, definitely Leno. We need the forward probably be what? Saka. Right back, Bellerin, and then the center backs would be probably Mustafi. I can't believe I'm saying want Mustafi in my starting 11. As much as he's a fellow German. Yeah, no, he is. He is playing well. It's still just weird to have me say I want Mustafi in my starting 11. But yeah, here we are. Mustafi Luis, yeah, and then we would play. I guess in my way, I would have a 4-3-3, and I would put Ceballos, Guendouzi, Torreira. Even though Xhaka has been playing well with Arteta, I don't care. Xhaka is. I don't want to talk about him. And then the 3 would be Martinelli, Aubameyang, Pepe.
All right.
Ideal world.
Maher usually picks 12.
Oh, I wish. If we play with 12 players, I'll put Ozil in there. Ozil will have a good game if we have an extra guy.
He did that on a previous podcast. I'm not letting him forget about it. All right, Maher, you can pick 11.
My lineup is just the one centre back different. It's going to be Pablo Mari. I mean, he's on loan. Let's see what he's got. He's only got 6 months with us.
He probably won't make it, but this is what
Arteta says he's not playing. Arteta says he's a week short of playing.
Yeah, he's
I
not
would have
gonna make
considered
it.
Yeah.
Then it's exactly that with Torreira, Guendouzi, 4-3-3. Exactly the same as Ryan.
I hope he gets slowly introduced, but at the very minimum, he needs to start against Portsmouth. Very minimum, like the latest. But he needs to. I hope he gets eased in. Maybe comes on as a sub and worked his way in slowly.
Isn't the Olympiacos game before that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think the Olympia. I talked a big game with James how I thought we were going to run through Olympiacos at home, but it won't be easy at first. I don't know if we want to start him, but yeah.
I would put Xhaka in there in place of Guendouzi. Sorry to say that, Ryan. Guendouzi would sit on the bench for me.
My heart is broken. On the day after Valentine's Day, you break my heart.
Yeah, how about it? So we're all predicting a win, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mayer, what's your scoreline? 3-0? I think
Yes.
I'll go along with that 3-0 as well. Going out on the limb these days, Ryan, trying to predict more than 2 goals is really an act of faith, right? You went 2-0?
2-0, yeah, 2-0, yeah.
All right, we'll close it out there. Ryan, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, guys. It was a fun time. Can't wait to
Hope you enjoyed
return.
it. Hopefully we'll have you on another time. Mahir, thanks for joining in.
You're welcome. Back again for a little bit.
We're gonna do Mahir and I will do a pregame tomorrow morning, just before the game, announcing the lineup. But until then, everybody, this is when the Arsenal players have to put up or shut up. Come back from the Dubai heat, but we have to keep the heat on their feet. And Arteta, he's the way forward, but the players need to put the effort in. Right, Ryan?
Exactly. You couldn't have said better myself. This is to put up or shut up time, boys. All gun. I don't like saying that either. All guns blazing, but yeah, we got to do it.
One final question, Screen Boy. Thanks for joining us as well. Do you want Liverpool to come to the Emirates unbeaten, Ryan?
Oh,
Have that epic game.
It's tough. I don't, because I don't. That's too much. I feel like that's just too much pressure on the players. I could totally see Arteta being like, "Oh, hey guys, like they're undefeated. They're gonna break our record." But I honestly, I really don't care. If Liverpool go undefeated, good for them. I'll be honest. I do love Klopp. I wish we got him back in the day, but we didn't. And
actually, I do have one more question. Statue or no statue for Arsene Wenger?
We talked about this on.
Everybody's talking about it.
We talked about the other podcast, and it somehow got put into. Do we want to give Ozil a statue and Aaron Ramsey a statue? Kidding, of course, we were kidding, but that's what it led to. Our tangents went wild. But the way I said it on the podcast was, I'm not gonna be butthurt if we don't do a statue of him. But does he deserve it? Yeah, obviously. I mean, you'd be an idiot to think, he wasn't. He kind of reminds you of like a grandpa with dementia. Like, he's your grandpa. You love him. He's done so much for you and like raising you as a kid. But then, there comes a time where he gets old and he's just running around the house in his underwear, giving you the middle finger when you're eating your cereal, getting ready for school, and you have to just deal with it and like be like, okay, well, he's my grandpa and like he's done so much for me, as he shits in the living room, but again, he definitely deserves it 100%.
I do think that Wenger should get a statue to win that many league titles with us. I think it's 3. It's an achievement, and you know how difficult it is to win the league right now, Mahir.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Geez, Louise, in the modern times, Ryan, I was actually saying this to Ray quite a while ago. You know what was our mistake that we made a long time ago? Wenger left too late, right? And at the same time, when we were selling our star players, we weren't investing the money back into other quality players. Getting the likes of Aubameyang and the Lacazette, etc., etc. All you needed to do was basically spend 50 mil on one player. So, for instance, you buy one player, even just one player in the transfer window, every window. By now, you can have an intense squad, something like a Man City, without having to spend 250 million, 300 million in one window.
You know what? I would go so far as to naming a stand after him as well. Other clubs have done things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you understand, of course.
Let's get out of here. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Come on, you Gunners. Let's get the win tomorrow. And Ryan, once again, thanks for joining us. And
pleasure to be here, boys.
Mahir, thanks for coming in. Until next time, up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gooners. We're out of here.